YouTube be back once again. Hold up, little difficulties, but today's video we got basically Netflix is trying to release new seasons of GT. That's what the title says. Oh, camera is. Bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. Hold up.
Did not enjoy Dragon Ball GT so much, and a lot of these haters, they do have a lot to say, so definitely leave your comments below if you're one of them. Leave a hashtag below, hashtag love GT or hashtag GT hater. I'm there.
I like GT
between the two, and in my
best scene transformation Super 4 hands down. I don't care what no one said. I don't care if it wasn't canon. Best transformation.
my opinion,
It's more of a sand look. The tail, the fur embraces the sand, like the monkey. You know what I'm saying? Like
GT is not the best anime of Dragon Ball, but it's really not that bad either, and it is something to pass the time. The mistake of those who watch GT is the expectation of thinking that it's gonna be with the dynamics of Dragon Ball Z, which it is not. Naturally, it's gonna be something entirely different with a whole different concept because it was made by other people. For those who fell here completely by a parachute, what is the story about this new Dragon Ball GT anime released on Netflix or streaming in general? As some know and some don't, May 9th was the official so-called most important day of Dragon Ball all year, and that's because it was Goku's day. This is called Goku's Day because the numbers 5 and 9 in Japanese spell out Goku. And every year, Toei Animation makes some crazy announcements on Goku's Day, so much so that we saw the Dragon Ball movie Superhero was announced exactly on this day. So they usually wait for the 9th to announce something for Dragon Ball. Now, this information, combined with the information from some of the leakers, the official DBS Chronicles profile had communicated that the Dragon Ball team, Chikashi Kubuta, Takahashi, and other renowned animators were already working since the end of 2022 last year for a new Dragon Ball anime, which totally matches Toei Animation's recent posts on social media because they are moving a lot about Dragon Ball, leaving here several signs of an announcement. What we knew is that the Dragon Ball anime...
If they make a new series, are they gonna like add on or like just scrap the old seasons? Like how they, what do they? I don't know.
Being produced. But for many, it will not make much sense to talk about Dragon Ball GT, since it would be the continuation of the manga. But it's not actually going to be a continuation of the manga. DBS Chronicles himself put it on his Twitter that the adaptation of the manga is going to happen around 2025. According to him, the anime that is currently being produced is not the canonical anime that's going to be released in 2025. It would not even make sense, but we will have this anime that's going to be released in 2023, this year. So this anime that's going to be released this year, it's not going to be Dragon Ball Super, or at least not the manga adaptation of Dragon Ball Super continuing after the Tournament of Power. With that, it opened up a gap for many people who have a lot to say. Mainly a very interesting thing in recent times has been the gathering of posts from Toei to start what would be a new Dragon Ball GT. We know that Dragon Ball GT ended with Goku going along with Shenlong, and we don't know where. And it would be...
Did she say Shenlong? Did she say Shenlong? Why am I bugging out? Let's go back.
GT ended with Goku going along with Shenlong, and
she said Shenlong.
We don't know where. And it would be exactly this ending that is very enigmatic, and many people still debate that it would be the initial route for the new Dragon Ball anime, bringing more adventures for Goku and explaining exactly what happened when he went there with Shenlong. In the final episode of Dragon Ball GT, Goku merges with Shenlong, the entity that makes a wish and is the most powerful entity enough to defeat the villain of the last arc of the series. After this fusion, Goku disappears in a great explosion of energy, and from then on, the ending of Dragon Ball GT is left open and doesn't clearly explain what happened to Goku. A common theory among fans of the series is that Goku became some sort of god or divine entity with the power to grant wishes and manipulate the universe in a way that transcends...
I didn't see him merge with it. I didn't see it. I remember him riding the dragon, but I don't remember him ever like merging.
Space and time. It's a different state of existence as a kind of divine being. He can still be seen by other characters and communicate with them, but his form and power are beyond normal human comprehension. As a result, he has a greater understanding of the nature of the universe and can interact with it differently. This theory is supported by some clues at the end of Dragon Ball GT, such as the fact that Goku is still able to communicate with other characters and appears in times of need. In addition, the fusion with Shenlong may have given Goku a power of understanding of the universe which surpasses the common knowledge of a human. He knows exactly where a problem is as a kind of protector of the universe. However, it's important to note that this theory is just an interpretation, and that the ending of Dragon Ball GT was left open to viewer interpretation. So the true nature of what happened to Goku is still certainly unknown. After GT ended, they even left it in some places and reused it, like in Dragon Ball Heroes, where Super Saiyan 4 was widely used. The GT characters are also used a lot, and even characters from the movies. Many people think that GT was just a failure, but it was not. Until it hit legally and commercially, it had been of great relevance to Dragon Ball. So will the new season of Dragon Ball really be Dragon Ball GT 2? This is something I've seen a lot of fans talking about regarding this new web anime that we're going to be getting. But here, I'm going to reveal to you that no, it's not going to be Dragon Ball GT 2, and I'm going to explain why. According to the Chronicles post, some specifications about this anime were placed. One of them is that this anime will be canon. That is, it could not be a continuation of Dragon Ball GT, simply because GT is not canon. It was not made by Toriyama. And we have confirmed that this new web series will be made by Toriyama, so that just doesn't make any sense together. So, GT canon.
So now GT's canon after so long?
Specifications about this anime were placed. One of them is that this anime will be canon. That is, it could not be a continuation of Dragon Ball GT, simply because GT is not canon. It was not made by Toriyama. And we have confirmed that this new web series will be made by Toriyama, so that just...
Yo, imagine he made like Super Saiyan 4, like a Super Saiyan God mode, or another form of Super Saiyan God, that'd be fire.
Doesn't make any sense together. So like I've said in other videos, I'm thinking that this web anime, as it is going to be canon and made by Toriyama, I think it's going to be some kind of parallel story to Dragon Ball Super. Something that does coincide with the Dragon Ball Super universe, but isn't necessarily happening to our main characters. That way, it's not interfering with their current levels of abilities and things like that. And there are lots of other works, such as Dr. Slump, which is in the same world as Dragon Ball, and other canonical ones, like the manga Nekomajin Z, Jocko the Patrolman of the Galaxies, Dragon Ball Minus, and other mangas by Toriyama. All of these mangas are not Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z. Remembering that in the manga, there is no Dragon Ball Z, and everything is just Dragon Ball. But there's multiple seasons, and you can go and check them out. Even many people talk about Frieza's son, Kuriza, which, where did Kuriza appear from? If you've never seen it, it's because he's not in Dragon Ball, he's in Nekomajin, which is the manga written by Akira Toriyama himself. And that is canon because he wrote it and it's in the Dragon Ball universe and portrays Kuriza, just like Jocko's manga has a lot of interesting stuff. This Dragon Ball Minus manga was adapted for Dragon Ball Super Broly. Many people saw Bardock arriving on the planet, talking a little bit about the destruction of planet Vegeta. He was arriving from a mission and brought up Frieza spying on the entire ship. This scene had been released years before, but many years before, and it's the manga that Toriyama did called Dragon Ball Minus. So when I saw that and then saw that they adopted Dragon Ball Minus, they even had the same frames. So yes, canon Dragon Ball goes far beyond anything we usually see in Dragon Ball. So it could be a Jocko special. It could be something from Bardock that was very emphasized in the recent manga saga. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but he was very, very present, mainly in the flashback, but had a huge impact on the way that this saga ended. Another thing he could do is make another Future Trunks story. What happened to Future Trunks after he returned to the other future, where there was another Trunks and Mai there? The most famous theory, and one of the ones that makes the most sense, is that he died. But could you explain how he survived? Because in Dragon Ball Super, they explained the Majin Buu saga in the future of Trunks. But what about the Tournament of Power of that universe? Because Zeno was thinking about destroying the entire universe. And the Tournament of Power is what changed his mind. It's also something to think about because the Goku Black arc was one of the most different that has ever happened in this anime. exploring deeper themes and bringing an idealist villain, and the saga ended up leaving a bitter taste since the protagonists were defeated. Trunks returned to the timeline in which he did not belong, and Zamasu fulfilled his dream plan to zero humans, however much it cost his life. Throughout the Goku Black Saga, I kept thinking about Zeno's button, so I'm kind of happy that they did end up using it, and it makes our heroes a little bit more realistic and gives them a goal that they need to reach. A lot of people didn't like the Goku Black Saga, and if you didn't, leave your comment here below why.
I feel like Goku Black was a cool character on its own, but Saga was alright. It could have been a little better.
Not. As you may remember, future Trunks appeared to ask Goku and Vegeta for help to defeat Goku Black. After Trunks' timeline ended up being erased by Zeno, he ended up traveling to a different timeline to live with Mai in their romantic fairy tale, instead of staying in the current timeline to just live out their dreams there. But anyway, in that timeline where future Trunks goes, if you remember correctly, they go to a point in history where Shin has not died yet. That's right before the arrival of Dabura and Babidi. Now Trunks would be strong enough to defeat them and prevent Majin Buu's return, just like he did in the other future timeline. In this timeline, there's also a Beerus, a Whis, and also a Zeno. This is exactly where the whole problem of the new story happens. Like I said, Zeno had decided that he was going to end all of these weaker universes. But then again, there won't be a Goku to propose the Tournament of Powers, so would Zeno just go ahead and destroy them? What's going to prevent him from doing so? If you remember, Universe 7 was the second worst mortal level of all, so it's definitely right there at the list to get destroyed. So maybe future Trunks would have to get in contact with the Beerus of that timeline and explain the situation. Beerus is definitely not going to want to let this stranger go and talk with Zeno about the ultimatum of his universe getting destroyed. Another thing is Zeno even going to like future Trunks? He really took a liking to Goku and his lovable character, and I don't really think that future Trunks has that same carefree energy. So leave your thoughts and opinions here in the comments about the Dragon Ball GT. Did you like it? Are you a hater? Would you want to see another Trunks story in this timeline happening parallel during this web series? Thanks for watching, and before
I definitely want to see this now. These scene. But nah, I definitely want to see this GT by Toriyama now as canon. That's interesting for sure. Let me know your comments down below. Let me know if y'all excited to see that. Were you a fan of GT? Did you not like you thought it was trash? Let me know down below. But I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. Yo.
I don't chase the bands chase me. Foot's gonna wipe a nigga off his feet. I'm swiping his loose. Bitch, I am a GOO and you is a she. Say he tryna link like a meet greet. I hate all these niggas, I lynch on my trees. I'm high as fuck, I'm out for this tree. You say you get bands, but you can't pay a fee. I'm in this Mercedes and you in a Jeep. Like I said before, if you feel froggy, then leave. I'm feeling like Ken, cause I beat up the beat. These niggas be copycat like a sheep.